right, this is the Travel G Podcast, and today we have Darren in the building. Just a little background. I met Darren in a Facebook group where a lot of people talk about trading strategies and whatnot. And Darren was one of the guys that was showing improving every day on his strategies for making money in the stock market every day without having a whole bunch of capital tied up at all times. So I definitely wanted to bring him on the show and get people to the chance to hear his story and some of the techniques he used and to show people that there is another way, that you can do things and be able to travel and live a better life without feeling like you're slaving away, just working here and paying these high prices for rent, food, and stuff like that. So let's give a round of applause for Darren.
Thank you. Thank you. Far too kind.
Let's just start off with the basics. What do you like to be called?
Darren's fine. Some people call me Darren. Some call me Dean. Some call me an asshole. It's whatever, really. I'm cool with it all.
Awesome. Just look at my notes here real quick. So, what's some of the places that you've lived at outside of the U.S.? Because I know you get around.
Let's see. Thailand. I lived in Mexico, Bogota, then Tbilisi, Georgia, which is near Russia,
Right.
and of course, America.
Definitely.
Yes, sir.
Um, got my notes right here. So, like when I know you go back and forth too. So, like, what are some of the things that you do like when you're back in the U.S.? Like, do you just chill? Do you pick up like a little side gig?
Oh, I work. If I'm in America, I'm typically going to be working, make some money before I head back because the market is the market. Sometimes you have a nice stretch where you're hitting home runs and base hits every day, and sometimes you're getting cracked.
Definitely.
And because I live in different countries, I can't legally work in the countries I'm living in. So instead of doing something illegal, I'll come back to the States, make some more money, and then I'll head back if need be.
Yo, when you like I said, I met him in the group, and you were dropping the gems back then. Like, what are some of your strategies with the markets? Do you buy stocks and buy low, sell high? Do you trade options? Like, just so that the people know, like, what are some of your strategies of making money in the market?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
So when I started trading, I was originally doing the penny stocks, the dollar stocks, $3 stocks, and I was using an offshore broker before they went out of business. So the benefit was I realized that I was horrible going long. If I try to buy low, I couldn't sell high because what I was buying, it didn't hold value. So I'll buy at $3, it'll go to 310, 320, and then it'll drop to 270, 280. And I was constantly buying too high, and then I'm at the top, and then it'll just free fall.
Yeah.
I was losing money. So I realized I'm better at shorting, which means you think a stock is going to lose value. You make money as the stock price drops. So I pulled that off by saying, well, since I'm really bad at going long, maybe I should start shorting where I want to go long at. And it actually worked. I would say, listen, I'll go long here, press short. The minute I press short, the stock just drops. I make my money, call it a day. Then, when that broker went out of business, I was in limbo. I didn't know what to do. So, someone in the group said, hey, try trading options. I said, what the heck is options? Never heard of it. So, I started looking into it. And the more I asked questions, the more people in a stock group could not simply explain options. You've been trading options 4, 5, 6 years, and you can't explain to a beginner how does this stuff work. So I had to just watch 8, 9, 10 hours of videos, and then I call into the basics. And after that, I said, "Oh, okay. Not only do I understand how options work, I now understand how to explain to other beginners."
Oh.
Light bulb moment. How about I start teaching people how to trade options? Then after options, I say, you know what? I like options, but I don't like Greeks. Alpha, beta, theta, delta. I don't got time for that. I hate how they work. I can't stand it. So I said, I want something different. So I got into trading futures. And I'm kind of in the future landscape now, but I'm thinking about going back to options.
That's
Full
what's up.
circle moment.
Options is pretty much like, yeah, I guess your bread and butter with the stock market right now.
It's not. I haven't traded in a while actually. I've been back in America since the end of May. I haven't traded. So when I pick back up, most likely, let's say September to October,
Like,
I may or may not focus back on options, or I may get back into futures. So I'm
gotcha.
kind of in limbo right now.
So either one of those will be where you'll start back at.
Has to
Gotcha.
be.
Gotcha.
Has to be.
So that's actually was moving on to my next point. So when you do go back, like what's like your cost of living like when you like assuming that, like are you gonna go back to Thailand or another country or
Back in Thailand.
so what's like your cost of living over there, as far as like an apartment and food, things like that.
It's weird. You can spend as little as you want, as much as you want. On the low side,
Yeah. What's
right
the
hand to God, on the low side, you can get yourself what we would say is a studio
yeah.
for maybe $100 a month. On the
Wow.
low side,
Wow.
for something a little bit more comfortable, something a little more amenities, pool, maybe have a washing machine in your unit. You may spend 200 on the low side. If you want more luxury, you're maybe pushing 3 to 350 on the low side of luxury. And after
Man.
that, you can spend 700, 800. You can spend 3,000, whatever you want to spend. You can spend after that certain point. So, as far as rent prices, if you want yourself just to rent a condo, that's where you're going to typically be at in a lot of cities. Now, Bangkok, the capital, is a financial hub. It's like being in New York City
Yeah.
in 1970.
Wow.
Far as rent prices, you can still spend $1,000, but your $1,000 is going to get you living in a 17, 18 floor. You're in a high rise. It's fully furnished. You're gonna have an amazing view of the city. You might spend $1,000.
Yeah.
You know, maybe. So,
That's what's up.
in that aspect of things,
Yeah.
food prices, I can tell you now. Again, you can spend as little bit or as much as you want. You can go to a Thai if you're buying anything locally made, local restaurants, local foods. You might spend for a meal $2, $3, $1 for a meal.
Ain't bad. Two
So
dollars.
like, I'm vegetarian. I'll go to a restaurant and I can get myself rice, maybe three vegetable sides, and it may cost me $1.50
That's good
locally.
right there.
If you want but the portion size are a lot smaller than what we would get here in America. So two things happen. Either you get comfortable eating the smaller portions because maybe you don't desire to have a big giant lunch
Yeah.
or a big breakfast. You may have several small meals, but they're high in protein, they're high in, vitamins and stuff. So you may end up still getting full, eating a lot less than you would typically eat in America.
Yeah. That's
So,
dope.
yes, sir.
Nice. How about like the transportation over there? Is it like cars? Do you live in walkable places usually, or do you get a bike?
So I'm living in right now major cities. So I live in Chiang Mai, which is the second or third largest city in Thailand. Chiang Mai is like New York in a sense. It's like Chiang Mai. It has a city and it's also a province or what we would call states. So like New York, New York, you have Chiang Mai, Chiang Mai. So I live in the city portion of it, which you have over 1 million people living in this city. So everything in Thailand, in a sense, if you're living in the city aspect, everything can be very close together that you don't need to have, say, a car to get around. You're not going to have the greatest of public transit, but if you need to take an Uber out there, they call it Grab. That's the company they use for rideshare. You may spend $3 for a 15-minute ride.
That ain't bad.
You could spend $2 for a 10-minute ride. So it really depends on where you're living and where you're going at. But for example, I live in a more of a tourist area,
Yeah.
but from my front door, within almost, because I have a motorbike, within a 5-minute ride of my front door, no, scratch that. In a 5-minute walk from my front door, there are two 7-Elevens.
Nice.
There is uh, a mall. A major mall is a 6-minute walk from my front door. But in my general area on my motorbike, I could take a 5-minute ride, and I'm going to pass about 4 or 5 7-Elevens in my area. There are about 3 to 4 laundromats in my area. Like literally, there's
Everything's
a
right
laundromat here, one there, one there. You have a fruit stand. You have 7-Elevens. You have one, 2 or 3 barbershops are near my front door. You have, and in Thailand, you know how in America, when you go like to buy, say you want to buy vegetables, you have the frozen fruit section and you have the fresh produce section.
there. Yeah.
In Thailand, the frozen section, it doesn't really exist.
Wow.
It's all fresh. So you're buying your fresh vegetables like for $1, $2, you're getting vegetables. I don't mean like you're not getting one red or green pepper. You might get 3, 4 of them. You might spend $2.
Bad.
You might get a bag of onions for $1.20, $1.30. So people are eating more fresh. So the way they do supermarkets, they'll have your big supermarkets, but then they have the same companies have smaller versions that are almost like convenience stores, but they have fresh vegetables, they have fresh meat, they have it's like a convenience store mixed with actual groceries.
That's perfect.
And those are scattered throughout the city, and the prices are the same. So you know how in convenience stores here in the States, you might go to one and whatever you would typically get cheaper in the supermarket is an inflated price at the convenience store. We don't have that. It's the same price. So eating haircuts will cost you $4 or $5 for a haircut.
Ooh.
My motorbike right now, I'm renting one. No, sorry, I'm financing one. It was $3,000 brand new. I'm spending $100 a month to finance it.
That's all? Just 100?
Yeah, my cell phone bill there is my cell phone bill and my home internet is packaged together. My internet and my cell phone bill it's $16. No, it's $20 a month.
Wow.
So the difference is they don't do really unlimited a lot. So you might get say 2 or 3 gigs for your base internet package on your phone,
Yeah.
but they'll say, okay, even though we're doing this, you will have unlimited YouTube or unlimited social media.
That ain't bad.
And then the way we do it in Thailand, instead of you making phone calls,
Yeah.
you know how people they'll do Apple FaceTime, whatever.
Yeah.
We have a calling app called Line. Everyone has a Line ID, which is your Messenger, your FaceTime, and that's often unlimited with your cell phone package.
Perfect.
So a lot of things that you need, you're not spending a lot of money to have.
Yeah. It's
Super
all
cool.
wrapped in. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome. All right. So my last question for you, like, what advice would you give to somebody that's, over here, just they working a minimum wage job. They stacking $100 a month. They on that 5 year plan trying to get out of America. What advice would you give them about like a place to go overseas and starting over and things like that? They trying to get in the game, get in the market and things like that.
Honestly, I would say first and foremost, figure out what country you want to move to. Figure out what city in that country you want to move to. And start figuring out what kind of visas you're going to need, cost of living, medical. Figure out your basics of what it'll take for you to be able to move there in the time frame that you want to move. And then figure out once you're there, how would you provide for yourself? Does that mean you're going to work remotely? And if so, you have to start finding a job that has universal remote work. Because some jobs say remote, but they may require you to live in a certain state. There's jobs right now. I'm in New Jersey. There's certain jobs that's hiring remotely, but New Jersey is not on the list, which means they're going to check your IP address when you log in to see if you live in said state. And if you don't, the job is not going to work out for you. So it's stuff of that nature. It's figuring out, well, what is the retirement age to live in this country? Because some countries will say you can come here as a tourist for 1 year, you can live here, and then you have to leave and come back. Some, it could be 2 months, 3 months. You might have to figure out different visas to allow you to live in said country a longer time. That's a big one. Also, it's just understanding the long-term goal of living in said country. Is it a stepping stone? Do you want to live in, I don't know, London for maybe a year and then you have dreams of moving to Dubai? Or you have dreams of moving to, I don't know, Bali, to Japan? Wherever you want to go, you have to start planning your long-term future while you're still in America. So as you get closer to hitting your goal, you're not sitting back saying, wait, what should I now have to figure out for this country? Wait, this country now has different visa requirements. Wait, this country doesn't want tourists right now. Wait, something happen here? You want to be able to have everything in order now. So as you get closer, you're making just minor adjustments. And that will take you it's a stress relief when you understand what you need to do now. So when you're getting closer, oh, I got this. Oh, I need this. Oh, I'll buy my condo now. Oh, I'll do my down payment now. Oh, okay, listen, right now the market is down in their currency. Let me start buying their currency now. So it's a lot of things that go into it, but the biggest part is just learning now. So when it's time to move, it's smooth sailing.
So I guess my takeaways would be the biggest piece is just plan, and do the research. While you're still here, just over research, over plan, so that you're prepared when it's time to start getting the ball rolling and spending money and prepared to actually leave.
Yeah, because you know what also happens that once you're actually in said country, you start seeing how much of your planning doesn't matter. Like, because once you're living there, you're no longer looking at it from the eyes of a visitor. Your idea of cost of living changes. Quick example. When I first moved there, everything is 2017 when I first moved there. Everything is cheaper than America. Oh my God. My smoothie cost me $2. Wow, this is so cheap. Wow, this is so cheap. And then my girlfriend was like, expensive. What do you mean expensive? It's $2 for a smoothie. She was laughing at me. That's not $2 here. That's $1. Wait, what? You're going to the fancy places. It's follow me. Oh, oh wow. Wait, I'm paying double the price. Now, when you're on vacation, it's cool to think is how cheap it is compared to America. But once you're here, you're looking at things from the eyes of a local.
Yeah.
They ain't like, wait a minute, I'm paying double the price. Why? Even though, yeah, it's not expensive for me, but I'm still overspending. Don't treat me like I'm a tourist because I'm no longer a tourist.
Local. Yeah.
I'm a local now. So things like that happens where you realize, okay, and then inflation happens.
Yep.
When inflation happens, not only do things go up in price, but remember, if you're making your money in USD, you are a slave of currency conversion. And let me tell you, that's a mother. Seriously. For example, one USD, when I first moved to Thailand, one USD was 33 Thai baht. One of our dollars was 33 of theirs. Then then something happened in the economy where now one USD is only 30 of theirs. It doesn't sound like a big difference.
It is.
But when I tell you it's a big difference, for example, so $330 would have been 33,000 Thai baht. No, sorry, I mean 33 times. Let's see. If I have $100, yeah, it'd be 3,300 with $100. And then all of a sudden, a few 6 months later, $100 is no longer 33, it's only 3,000.
Big
Still,
loss.
you're losing $9-10.
Yeah.
Easy, right? So now when you have your rent and your rent is 12,000 when you move in, 12,000 divided by 33, your rent is 363, which isn't bad, right? But now all of a sudden, if 6 months go by, right?
Yep.
Now that same 12,000 is going to cost you 400 USD. It's not cute no more. It's like,
Yeah.
I just got a rent increase overnight.
Yep. Just
But
off
the rent
inflation.
price is, the rent's the same.
Yep.
It's the same. But as that currency conversion changes, if it swings too wide, you're screwed.
Yep.
If you're on a fixed income, it gets really scary. If you
Yeah.
have bills that came out of nowhere, it gets really scary when currencies and economies go haywire. At one point when I was there, the USD dropped down to 28. Yeah, it's like $1 was 28 baht. At the time, I was spending 12,000 a month. So now my 12,000 divided by 28, 428 became my rent. So from 360 to 430,
Yeah, that's huge.
overnight. Like, what the F happened? And that's just rent.
You ain't ate yet or nothing.
No, so now even though local prices haven't changed, the value of your personal income has changed. The value has changed. And now everything's more expensive and you're kind of screwed, brother.
Yeah.
So planning is everything. And once you get there, you realize your planning was meaningless. Because now you're dealing with life on life terms as a local. And then now you're starting to plan properly. So you're going to plan the move, and then when you get there, you're going to actually plan for how life actually works living there. So yeah,
What would you
it's
say
a doozy.
What would you say is the minimum, like backup emergency fund, somebody should have like the bare minimum, going over there.
Oh, I say if you believe in America, if you're going to a country that that you deem as affordable, then have 6-7 months of money saved up.
Half a year.
Yeah, I mean, and if you're going to a country that it's expensive, then plan how you plan. You feel me? So like if you're going from here to like London, which is like living in New York City, then you kind of understand the cost associated with it. So you should have an understanding of what it takes to maintain.
Yeah.
But the opposite is when it's more affordable. Sometimes we get a little more lax in our planning because it's so cheap. It's so cheap. It's so cheap. And then when something bad happens, it's like, oh, not so cheap, not so cheap. I don't have money for this. I have no money for that. What am I going to do? I'll also say that if you have 6 months, 3 months, depends on how long you plan to live there. If you're planning to live there for a year and you got 6 months of income saved up, make sure you're including your round trip or your one way ticket back home. Always have your flight money on deck. Because
Good
if you
point.
don't have that factored in, and now you're 4 months in, you're like, I got 2 months of money left over, but now my flight is not going to cost me $300. It's going to cost me $2,000 to get home. Kind of screwed. And if you don't have a plan on where you're going to live when you come back, kind of screwed.
Yep.
Like my mom has a house. So I'm living in a 2-family house. I have 3 bedrooms to myself. Right? I know if it doesn't work out somewhere, I can come back home to
Yep.
visit, to regroup. I have somewhere to go. But if you don't have anywhere to go, figure out where can you go. And if you can't or don't have somewhere to go, then as you're budgeting your relocation, have that buffer of saying, if things don't work out, I need to have X amount of money to get myself back home and get set back up.
Great advice.
So it can be cost efficient, and it also can be a little detrimental if you don't have things planned out ahead of time.
Definitely.
Yes, sir.
Um, are you still doing the one-on-one options training for people?
Oh
Um,
yeah,
how
I teach people how to trade 1-on-1. I work via Zoom, so I don't do courses because I think courses is a little scammy in a sense because you're talking to a camera, you're telling people how to do this stuff, but you're not addressing your personal needs. You're addressing a wide audience base, and you're selling someone a course, and they don't understand. Then sucks to be them. So you can always find me. I'm Darren Grant on Facebook. You see the face, my display picture. You can always reach out to me by email, dirkjones03@gmail.com. I'm available.
All right, we're
Uh,
gonna leave a link to. We're gonna put his email in the We're gonna pin it to the comments below in this video if you want to reach out to him to get a one-on-one options trading session. Just to get get your feet wet and get some knowledge on how to trade. If that interests you, we'll keep that. We'll put that in the comments for you guys. Darren, I want to thank you for coming in and sharing your experience with us. A lot of people wanted to hear this story and needed to hear it, but we're definitely gonna get up out of here, and we're definitely gonna have to have you back on the show again soon.
no problem.
I appreciate it, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. This is Travel G Podcast, and we are out.